All right, we've got our first guest
Hey!
of several. Julie Kemper, who's the Curator of Object Learning at the Kentucky Historical Society, is here to join us today. Julie, thanks for coming up.
Well, thanks for having me.
Busy week.
I know.
So you've got an event, or I guess an exhibit opening soon called Our Stories, Our Service. You want to talk a little bit about it?
Sure. So Our Stories, Our Service is opening on June 13th, and it is about Kentucky's women veterans. And it covers basically from World War I to current day. We chose the World War I time period because that's the first time when women are recognized by the U.S. Armed Forces, when they receive rank, when they're getting recognized with medals and also other things like that. So we've been spending some time setting up. We've been pulling all sorts of artifacts from our collection. We've also been borrowing items from service members to put on exhibit. And so we get to talk a little bit about not just what they did, but how women impacted the armed forces, in addition to showing how uniforms changed over time, what service looked like for different women. And we cover some tough topics as well. We talk about some of the struggles as well as the triumphs for women in the armed forces.
Oh, wow. We're seeing some really cool stuff here on the screen. Do you want to talk a little bit? I saw that. What was the quilt? What was it?
Oh, so the quilt is actually on loan to us. It was given to a woman who suffered from military sexual trauma. And so it's called Quilts, Hugs for Quilts, Quilts for Hugs. I'm so sorry. I can't remember exactly. And so it's part of that healing process. A lot of people coming out of the service, not just women, struggle with different issues when they're going into civilian life. We also have some incredible World War I items. You're seeing a little bit there.
Right. Was that a leather coat I saw?
It is.
Oh, wow.
It is. A woman who's from Kentucky, actually lived in New York. She was a race car driver prior to World War I.
Oh, wow.
And so she started an ambulance corps that was attached to the U.S. Army, the Surgeon General's office. And so this leather coat was her driving coat, and it has Army buttons on it. And the hat that you saw there, the symbol on the hat, is the Women's Motor Corps symbol. And I've never been able to find another one like it. As far as I know, it's the only one that exists.
Oh, wow.
It was a very small group of women, but they drove wounded men from the ships coming in from Europe to the hospitals in New York.
Wow. See, stories like that, people need to come here because you just don't even think about things that have happened in our history, and that's what you guys are here for.
Yeah, we're really excited to tell the stories of such a wide variety of women from every time period. And remember that service isn't just about war service. People in the armed forces serve during peacetime too, and still deserve respect and appreciation.
I think it's so interesting to see the behind the scenes and the history, in a museum of all the archives, and watching you guys work with all that. How long does it take to put together an exhibit like this? I mean, is it like a year?
Well,
months, clearly.
We've been working on this one for 2 years,
Yeah.
and COVID does have a role in that.
Sure.
But it started with Honor Flight Kentucky came to us and they said, hey, we're putting together an honor flight of just women, only women.
Cool. Yeah.
Could you pull out some things from your collection and show, we'll have them over, they can come see some neat things. And we're like, well, we have a lot. So it kind of snowballed from there. And we ended up with
we do have a
whole
lot
exhibit.
that more people we want to see.
We do. And I have just been so excited to find new treasures. We had them, we knew we had them, but we didn't always know the story behind them. So in fact, I was just digging into Nina Shelton yesterday. She's one of our featured veterans. She was in the Army Nurse Corps in World War I. And I knew she was in the Nurse Corps for a long time, but I found out she actually was in the Army Nurse Corps prior to World War I starting. In 1910, she joined, was in for 6 years, went back to the civilian world, Didn't quite work out for her. Joined the Red Cross in 1917, and then transferred from the Red Cross back to the Army Corps and served for an additional 20 years.
Holy cow.
She received a Distinguished Service Medal from General John Pershing himself.
Oh, wow. And what was her name again?
Nina Shelton.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
She's going to be, and we have some of her items, including her nursing hat and some things like that.
Okay. And she's from Kentucky?
And she's from Kentucky.
Wow.
Yes, she was born in Lexington.
Oh.
So yeah.
Well, again, all of this stuff is so interesting to me, and I just love that you all take the time to learn the stories so that you can tell the stories, and that's what I love about the work that you all do.
Yeah. Well, thanks.
So June 13th is going to be the opening. Does this feel like you're putting your thing out into the world, right? So I'm sure that's exciting. When do you start on the next one? Have you already started, or do you take a minute? You're like, oh, let's just enjoy this for a few months.
Yeah, no, we've already started thinking about the next thing. Early planning going on. We're going to talk a little bit about Kentucky's native tribes next. So it's a huge undertaking. It'll take a while. We'll probably have a smallerish display going on in between, because we'll need to make sure we take our time and do that well.
So how long does our Stories, Our Service run?
So it will be up with programming through the summer of 2024.
Okay.
We don't have an exact closing date now, but it'll be open for over a year.
Okay. Okay. Well, we want to invite people
Heck yeah.
to get down to the History Center and check it out.
Such a great resource to have here in Frankfurt.
Yeah, for real. Yeah.
You normally have to go far for stuff like that. So congratulations on this, and get people down there to watch it or look at it. And Julie, thanks so much for coming down.
Experience it.
And
Yes.
exactly. That's the word.
Yes.
It's
I've
going
used
to be a
up all
great
my words.
experience.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for coming and sharing this. And then, you'll have to come back when you have when you change out or other events happening there. Come let us know.
We'd love to do that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks. Julie Kemper, the Curator of Object Learning at the Kentucky Historical Society. And so get down there and check out the Kentucky Women's Veterans, Our Stories, Our Service, starting June 13th.